I'm back from 2 weeks on board the first Royal Caribbean cruise that I've been able to sail on in well over a year, and I got thinking, what would I do differently? I've got my list up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and every time I go on a Royal Caribbean cruise, I usually have a couple days afterwards that I start thinking about what would I have done differently? What would I wish I could have done differently? Because after all, hindsight is always something that teaches us a lot of lessons, right? The ways we can improve. After all, the point of this whole YouTube channel is to help everybody have a better cruise, and a lot of that is based on mistakes or ways to improve how we cruise. And even after going on my first cruise in over 15 months, I started thinking about what are some ways I could make things better or I would have done differently, having known now what I know now. In going on the first Royal Caribbean cruises in North America, I was relying on a combination of tried and true methodologies that we have figured out before COVID and kind of looking at what's happening around the world now and trying to make a best guess as to what will probably work. Now, in most cases, this worked out fine. And in full disclosure, I had a great cruise, great time on both sailings, wouldn't trade it for the world, and overall, it was great. But there's always room for improvement, and in my case, I found a couple ways that I think I would change things up if I were to go back in time and do it all over again. The first thing that I instantly thought of when I got back home was, should I have relied on the drink package or gone with the complimentary drinks that we got with Royal Caribbean's Crown and Anchor Society? So before the cruise, I booked my drink package because I'm a firm believer that the drink package saves me money because of the way that I cruise. The unlimited drink package offers a variety of drinks that I can enjoy throughout the cruise and at Perfect Day Coco Cay. But right before the cruise, Royal Caribbean changed its policy as it relates to its Diamond members on board. The change was to give Diamond, Diamond Plus, and Pinnacle members more complimentary drinks that include any drink on the menu, similar to the drink package, while at the same time limiting the amount of drinks you could get at the Diamond Lounge. The idea was basically to not encourage people to go crowd into the Diamond Lounge. Now, as a result, as a Diamond Plus member, I had access up to 5 complimentary drinks, cocktails, whatever you want to call it, every day of the cruise that I could use at any time at any venue on board. Now, Royal Caribbean said it would work at Perfect Day Coco Cay. In my 2 sailings, that was not the case at all. But looking back on it now, would I have gone for that instead of a drink package? A lot of people were thinking about that as well because 5 drinks a day is a lot of drinks. And even if I take my 5 drinks and then I pay out of pocket for 3 or 4 drinks, that's still cheaper than probably of purchasing the drink package. So would I have done it differently? That's a great question. The first sailing, I think the answer would have been yes, because I was doing so much work running around the ship. I know some people are cringing at the idea that going on a cruise ship is work, but I did a lot of work running around the ship, trying to document everything, writing posts, meeting up with my fellow YouTubers out there. Big shout out to everybody on the cruise, on Adventure of the Seas I got to meet. There's some great YouTubers out there. I hope you check them all out. And so at the end of the first cruise, there was a lot less drinking than I thought I was going to do. Certainly, coffees and things like that I was able to use as well. But in retrospect, and I'm not sure I would have convinced myself of it at the time, I might have been better off going without the drink package on cruise number 1. Cruise number 2, where I took it a little bit easier and relaxed more, yeah, no worries at all, guys. I definitely got my money's worth out of that drink package. Speaking of package regret, the Ultimate Dining Package. So on the second sailing, we did the Ultimate Dining Package for my family. On the first sailing, we just did the 3-night package. And on a non-Oasis or even Quantum class ship, going with the Ultimate Dining Package on a 7-night cruise is a lot of food. On Adventure of the Seas, there are 3 primary restaurants you can eat at with a dining package. That would be Chops Grill, Giovanni's Table, and Izumi. It does work also at Johnny Rockets as well, so just full disclosure, that's also part of it. But for the purposes of what we were doing, we were primarily eating at those 3 restaurants that I mentioned. So the reason why I thought about the Ultimate Dining Package is it's a lot of food. When you go and sit down for these meals, you're getting a full meal every single time, obviously. But in reality, and I think you can see this at home as well, some days you want a full meal and other days you just want to kind of nosh a little bit, or maybe to have a smaller meal because of different things going on. With this particular itinerary, we had a lot of port stops, including 2 days of Perfect Day at Coco Cay, Cozumel, and Freeport. And when you're on shore excursions and you come back to the ship, you're tired, you want to take a shower, and in a lot of cases, you may just want to take it easy. And in places like Cozumel and Perfect Day at Coco Cay, we ate a lot of food for lunch and snacking throughout the day at these ports. So when we got back to the ship and 5:30, 6 o'clock rolls around, which is what the times we were making our reservations for the dining package, I was kind of like, I really don't want to eat. In a lot of cases, especially towards the end of the cruise, we were kind of forcing ourselves to go to these restaurants and just, order a couple things off the menu. So in retrospect, I would have stuck with a 3-night dining package on this. Now, if this were Harmony of the Seas or Oasis of the Seas, totally different ball game because there's a lot of different options out there. Now, to be perfectly honest, even thinking about it now, the other reason we got the limited dining package was the Windjammer was closed for dinner. And because the Windjammer was closed for dinner, that changes the dynamic of your choices. Because when you're rolling back on the ship after a day in Cozumel, as an example, if you want to go to the Windjammer for dinner, usually that's not a problem. But here, that wasn't a choice. So it does limit your choices there. And if we didn't do the dining package, on some of these days, we either would have had to rush to make the main dining room or maybe just ordered Sorrento's or something like that. I'm not sure. But the ultimate dining package absolutely delivers what it promises, which is a lot of food. And sometimes a lot of food is, well, a lot of food. Speaking of Cozumel, an absolute mistake I made on the first sailing was trying to wing it in Cozumel. And I love Cozumel. There's a ton to do there. But there's no doubt today, if you're going on a cruise that visits Cozumel, you should have firm plans. Our idea on the first sailing was we'll go downtown, which I absolutely love to do, walk around, grab some food, do some shopping. It'll be great. Well, number one, it was extremely humid. Number two, Cozumel requires everybody to be wearing face masks while you're outside or inside in Cozumel. So when you're walking around and you're wearing a face mask and it's extremely humid and hot out, it's not very comfortable. And it really changes the dynamic of your ability to enjoy your time out there. And for me, we ended up kind of just trying to find anywhere that had air conditioning. And we made a terrible choice for lunch that was not necessarily related to face masks. That's just poor judgment. And it just ended up being a not so great day. On the second visit to Cozumel, we had plans. We said, okay, we're going to go to Paradise Beach, which I absolutely love. Went there, had a great time, and we had firm plans. And this reminds me of something I always want to remind cruisers about, which is researching what you want to do in port is a great idea. And winging it is not bad. Sometimes walking around and exploring isn't a terrible idea, but you want to have a good idea of where you want to go, and researching a good idea or a good shore excursion to do is definitely the right thing. So if I were to go to Cozumel again, I would absolutely have a plan of action, an excursion booked, whether it's through Royal Caribbean or on my own. I would make plans in advance to ensure that I have something lined up and there's less of this ambiguity and less of a chance I'm going to make another mistake while over there. Something else my wife and I kind of thought about a lot was whether or not we should have changed our flights to fly home the same day the cruise ended. So when Royal Caribbean announced their cruises on Adventure of the Seas, I went ahead and booked flights before they actually announced sailings. I thought I was doing myself a favor by booking flights, and I wasn't sure back then what to expect in terms of the disembarkation process. Will it take hours? Will it be much longer than usual? So I decided, you know what? We're going to spend an extra day in Nassau, extend our vacation, and make sure that we have a stress-free way of getting to the airport the day after and not have to worry about changing flights or running to the airport, right? And that logic actually did hold up. But in reality, the disembarkation process was still pretty much the same as it was pre-COVID. I mean, there's different areas you wait in, like you wait in your stateroom now instead of going to a common area, but you still got off the ship around the same time, and you could still make flights around the same time you could pre-COVID. So what ended up happening was we spent a very nice day in Nassau at the Baha Mar Resort, which is a fabulous place to stay. But it's always nice to be able to just get home, do laundry, kind of get back in your routine. And since the cruise ended on Saturday, we would have had a full day on Sunday to recover instead of a partial day on Sunday to recover. So while I enjoy an extra day of vacation as much as the next guy, I think we would have been fine simply booking a flight later in the morning or even the afternoon to be able to get back home. And that way we could have had a little more time over the weekend to get back into the swing of things, so to speak. This next regret is definitely for some of our casino friends out there. Hitting on 15. You either do it or don't. I did it. I regret it. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the chat below your thoughts on hitting on 15 or not at blackjack. And lastly, I wish I had spent more time on the pool deck. Usually the pool deck on a cruise is very busy, especially on sea days, but I really didn't spend a lot of time up there. I think because in general, I kind of conditioned myself to spend my time elsewhere, but with just about 1,000 people on board Adventure of the Seas for both sailings, the pool deck was pretty much empty, and it was so nice out there, especially in the shade with the breeze going. I wish I had spent more time up there, even in the pool, because I just generally avoid going in the pool on cruise ships, primarily because it's just super crowded usually. But in this day and age, especially right now, there's just not a lot of people on board, and you can take advantage of the available pools on board, the solarium, the water slides. There were no lines and barely any crowds in the pool, so I kind of wish I had said, Self, hop in that hot tub, go for a swim in the pool, go down the water slides on board the ship a couple times. I kind of regret I didn't do more of that because that's what makes it so much fun. And in my opinion, when there are low lines and you know this is an outlier situation, you got to take advantage of it. So there you go. There are the things I would have done differently if I had a flux capacitor, could have gone back in time and warned myself not to go to 1955. No, wait, that's not it, right? To tell myself not to do those things on Adventure of the Seas. I'd love to know in the comments, which of these do you agree with? Which of these you think I'm crazy on, like hitting on 15? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications so that way YouTube lets you know when we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.